Welcome back to Freely Blooming with Kaylee. I really wanted to talk to you about or show you the way I create a new garden space. So quite a few years ago, when I started looking into gardening and how to really garden effectively, I found a documentary called Back to Eden Gardening. And I really loved the concept that was taught in that video. It's really, really great. If you have some time and want to watch a great documentary, search on YouTube, Back to Eden Gardening. You'll find the original documentary, and it's so great, and it has such a good concept of a no-dig garden. And then I found Charles Dowding last year and other gardeners who were doing no-till gardening or no-dig garden beds in the ground. And it really just resonated with me and just made a whole lot of sense. Basically, when you have a new garden space, if you're wanting to plant in ground, that was something that I really wanted to do. I really wanted to cultivate the soil that, in on my property that I already had and amend that soil and make it great rather than just filling up raised beds. There's a lot of different reasons for that. I know there's pros and cons to both, but I really felt like I wanted to do in-ground gardening myself. So I am creating a brand new gardening space this year. I'm actually doubling my garden space, my square footage, and I am making a place for my root vegetables, for potatoes, carrots, and onions. And I'm really, really excited about it. And I just kind of wanted to take you through the process. Yesterday, you're gonna see in here, yesterday I hauled 3 tons of dirt and compost by myself. And I hauled it out of the truck. I went and got 1 ton at a time. Sorry, the light's kind of crazy in here. But I got 1 ton at a time, shoveled it out. Half of it, or the compost, went straight into amending my soil that I already had. So every season, basically gonna top off the garden with, an inch or 2 of fresh compost. And then in the new garden, you'll see here, I'm actually laying down cardboard. I'm not digging and I'm not tilling up the ground at all. My chickens have sat on this little space just for a couple of days. I wish I would have thought about it sooner, but we had tons of snow on the ground. It just wasn't going to be doable. But I laid cardboard all over this garden space. You'll see here. And then I shoveled all the dirt out. And basically, I'm just going to lay this soil and compost mixture directly right on top of the cardboard and some butcher paper. I got something in the mail that had some butcher paper, and it's going to work as well. So I am laying all of that down. I'm going to top it with a couple inches of soil, and then I'm gonna come back and do more compost on top of that. And that's actually what I'm going to plant into. Hopefully I'll get some planting done this weekend. I got my seed potatoes, and I'm gonna be planting some Adirondack blue potatoes and some bunch of different carrots. And I got some some gold potatoes and some red potatoes that have sprouted in my pantry by themselves. So don't you know I'm not gonna waste those. I'm gonna cut them up and I'm gonna use them as seed potatoes, and I'm gonna get more potatoes out of them. So I'm really excited about this new garden space, and yeah, I'll just kind of take you along and show you how I do it. I'm walking back out to the garden space, and I just absolutely love evening sun. It's so pretty. Today was gorgeous. It was 63 degrees outside. I think the high was 63. And I got to spend time with some friends and got to Bible study this morning, and just soaking up all of the sunshine. I probably got a little bit of a sunburn. Isn't it crazy that just a little bit of sun after a long winter or long days of not being out in it. So you're gonna see the process. I'm gonna show you the hauling of the dirt, everything I've done so far, and then I'll kind of show you just the end process. So the whole concept and reason of no-dig gardening is basically, they say that when you try to get out of the sun, when you plant, so if you're starting a garden space and you're tilling up the ground, basically what you're doing is you're stirring up the weed seeds, and what you're doing is disturbing the biodiversity and all of the microorganisms in the soil. When you have really great soil, or having a lot of diverse organisms, I think it's for a handful of dirt, there's millions of living organisms in that dirt, and that's what makes it great and wonderful. And every time you till, you're actually turning it up, and you're actually causing it to be disturbed in a way that's not good for it. So there's a whole lot of research. You can really look into no-dig gardening, but that's really trying to find a good space. But that's really what I wanted to go for, just because it just makes more sense to me with how things are supposed to work. Trying to find some good light. So that's really, no-dig gardening really just made a lot more sense to me. And I wanted to do things as naturally as possible. And it's really great when you do things this way. You can kill, when you lay down the cardboard and the grass, or sorry, the cardboard and the paper, it kills all the grass underneath it. As long as you don't give it any light, you're not gonna have weeds and grass. You still may have a little bit, but until you do something like this, you're probably going to be battling grass and weeds and such. So hopefully this no-dig garden, like my other one, will work out to where I'm really not really battling anything like that. All right, here it is. So I borrowed a truck from a neighbor. This is 1 ton of compost and soil. The new garden space, we currently have our chicken tractor here, but the new garden space is gonna go here. So this is only 1 ton and I need a little over 3 total for both of my garden spaces. So I'm just gonna unload this so I can go get some more. All right, I got the second ton. First ton, second ton, round 2. And there is Luna and Mabel, our Nigerian dwarfs, hanging out with the neighbors, eating whatever has fallen over there. Okay, it is a gorgeous day. It feels so good. I am so excited that I decided to do this on this day. I'm going out of town in a few days, so I really needed to get this done. So this is our borrowed, ooh, it's sunny. It's our borrowed neighbor's truck. This is what is called Zupu, and I will talk about this soon, but it's from the local zoo here in OKC. They actually compost this for a business here, and they use the manure from herbivores. They use plant clippings and all sorts of stuff to create this compost. So what it does, because it's coming from animals, it is part manure from herbivores and then other things. So it's supposed to create biodiversity in your soil, which is super important when growing a garden. You really want it to be completely diverse in all of the organisms in your soil. I had to go get one of these guys. Our original wheelbarrow just kind of rusted out, broke. It's really old. I got one of these gorilla carts, which I am super excited. So I'm gonna unload this straight into this cart and just haul it back and forth to my garden space, which is back here on the other side of my house. So I'm gonna get right to that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Getting some compost into the cart?
Yeah.
Good job. That's a big help. You got your muscle tee on? You got your muscle shirt? Oh, awesome. Does it feel good out here today?
Yeah.
Good job. So this is my pile that I have. The kids are helping, obviously, so you'll see. Kids definitely helped that little green shovel. Luckily, like I showed you yesterday, I got one of these carts, so I will be trying to cover. We have to go out of town tomorrow. And if you're anything like me, once I set my mind on doing something and getting something done, I just want to get after it and do it completely. So I'm going to cover all of this with at least enough dirt to where, you know, the cardboard that is laid won't blow away in the wind. Now I am, where you see up against the fence where you see that grass, I am going to have to cover that. When you do and research no-dig gardening, what you're going to want to do is cover the ground. So this cardboard is going to compost down. It will break down and go into the soil. It's why I'm using cardboard. Anytime you use any, like a plastic tarp, anything like that, I wanted something that's going to compost down and at least give something to the soil. But if you don't cover everywhere, now this is up against an area of grass, so I will probably have to battle this perimeter around here. And you're going to want to put the cardboard out a little bit further outside of your perimeter. That way you really don't get any grass growing into your garden. Now, I did have some grass Bermuda kind of pop back up into areas of my garden, but that was a fault of my own, and I did not cover it effectively. So you're just want to completely cover the ground, and then you're just going to top it with probably soil, anything, mostly compost, a couple inches of soil, couple inches of compost. I think I've read to where maybe like 6 inches would be great. I am going to try to do a little bit of a root stout method by planting my potatoes, covering them with hay. That way they're covered. That is going to be my mulch, I think, in this root vegetable garden. So got a lot of work ahead of me. You mustn't forget your latte break. Thought I was gonna say water, huh? Latte. Now the no-dig method probably, I guess you could say at first, may be a little bit more labor intensive, but not really because you're not tilling. It may actually be a little bit less labor, but you are moving a lot of soil and a lot of compost onto the spot rather than tilling up and using what you have. This is springtime, sign of springtime right here. So I know this was not just a whole lot of information, but I've had a lot of people actually ask me how I'm starting beds and how I started my garden last year. And I just kind of wanted to show you the process. You know, you probably are going out and finding a good local source of compost. I would definitely suggest looking online. If you're in any gardening groups or anything in your area, definitely search and ask for somebody who makes organic compost locally. We do have a really good source with our local zoo, and then a company that makes compost out of the herbivore manure, like I mentioned before, and clippings and different things like that. But you really want a diverse compost, not just one base, you know, one that has maybe manure and has a vegetable compost and, you know, garden waste compost. Definitely starting your own compost pile for future gardening projects. I know that's what I'm doing. And I know I've talked a lot about gardening on this channel so far. I did want it to be more so just about a natural lifestyle in general, but this is just part of what a natural lifestyle is to me. It's really important to know where my food comes from, you know, kind of chemicals are on my vegetables, my lettuces, and in my meats. And it's just really important to me to be able to have this knowledge. You know, I guess in 2020, none of us really could have said or predicted what was going to happen in 2020. And I think our world, and definitely our food system in this country, is pretty unstable, as we saw sometimes last year, and even so this year with storms and things. You know, people were without because stores were closed or trucks couldn't get to their area and shelves were completely empty. And I don't come at it from a place of fear, or I'm going to prep, because I think the world is ending or whatever. As a Christian and a child of God, I truly believe that He takes care of His children. And so I'm not worried in that sense, but I don't think it's unwise to have these types of skills and to know these types of things and to be a little bit self-sustaining. So if I ever got to a place where we really needed to grow our own food, then we can, and we have the space for it. So why not go ahead and start now? You could start with a 5-gallon grow bag. You can start in buckets. You can start in raised beds. You can have a planter on your windowsill in your kitchen with some herbs. Every little bit helps, and every little bit of gardening counts. So I hope you enjoyed kind of seeing a little bit about how starting a new garden space. And if you have any questions, please give a comment, subscribe if you like what I'm doing here, and I hope to see you soon.